Hey guys, in this tutorial we are going to build and deploy this recipe app using Expo React Native with Chatgpt. Also we will be learning lots of other stuff like how to make a responsive website, mobile app, and also we will learn how to make filters using our search bar, and also we will be learning lots of other stuff like fetching the data from API. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So you can see all of the preview in the demo section. Now it's time to create our folder on our desktop, which name is recipe app, and after that we have to drag and drop the folder inside our Visual Studio Code so we can start our development. So first of all we have to open our terminal, so where we can write commands to install our Expo React Native inside our directory. So for installing Expo React Native inside our directory, we have to write npx create expo app and dot slash, which will create the app inside our directory. And after a moment we can see that all of the folders are generated by Expo React Native. Now it's time to install a Tailwind CSS. I am not using Tailwind CSS directly, so I am using a package which name is TWRNC, and I am installing that. Also, I am deleting the all the folder which is Expo React Native has generated default, and we will be creating all the folders from scratch, and also for making things understandable. So first of all we have to create a app directory. Inside the app directory we have to create index.tsx. So it will be our first page, and after that we have to do npx expo start, which will start our project. And also we need some code inside our index.tsx which will make it considerable to Expo React Native to showcase as a first page of our application. So if we open our browser and write localhost 8081, then our project will be started on the localhost, so we can see each thing side by side. So first of all we have to write foodie inside the text element, and it will display foodie on our browser also. So also we have to import the class name from TWRNC, which will allow us to use the class name inside our project. It is a feature of Tailwind CSS, and we are using the TWRNC package, which will allow us to use Tailwind CSS classes inside Expo React Native without installing the all the other stuff. So I have two tags, which one is telling about foodie, which will be our logo in the next sections, and I think but I am importing an image. So let's see, our browser is too slow, and it's still not reloaded, so we will wait until it reload. And before it reload we have to do import our image. So uh, let's wait, and when our server will run, that's the point, and we can open the mobile simulator. And I have opened the mobile simulator. You can also use that, link is in the description, and it will allow us to showcase a mobile like interface, so we can be create our app for mobile. So first of all we have to give some class names to our outermost view, which is our container, like bg orange 500 flex 1, which will cover whole screen and justify content, and item center will centralize everything inside our screen. So Also we have to give a source, I think, to our image. Before that we have to style the tags of foodie. So let's give some class name to it, like tags 5 and the font will be bold and the text will be white, I think. Text will be white, and yeah, it's looking good. So now let's style the next text, which is our food is always right. So also we have to give some class name to it, like text LG, which will increase its font size, text white, which will make the color of the text white, and the font semi bold make the text semi bold. So after that we have to use some margin top of 2, and now it's looking good. Also we have to increase the font size of our foodie tags. So I have increased to 6 XL. After that we need a logo. So for logo, what I am doing, I am just using an icon from Hero Icon website. Link is in the description. You can go there and let's search any icon for our this recipe app. So let's search for eat food. What we will got, just we will try to find out a suitable logo for our recipe app. So let's search for it. Let's if we open another tab and go to food, right, food, and just search for it, and then I know a website which name is iconscout.com. Link is in the description, and you can search for it here because all the 3D type of icons are available here. So I use it a lot, and it's a premium, I think. So I am using a hack here to get an asset from it, just to inspect and click on. After inspecting, you can able to download that image from it without purchasing it. So it's cool, I think. So now we are able to see the image and just right click it and save image as image, and save the image inside our asset folder. So create an asset folder and just rename the image with something like logo, and after that we can now close the icon scout tab, and after that we have to import an image, and we also have to give a source, and we have to give the location of the logo so the image will be displayed on our screen. So give the location of the image. In my case it is dot dot slash asset logo dot webp, and now it's displaying a great image, a logo on our screen. Now it's time to give some class name to fix it height and width, and give width 70 and height will be 40 70, I think. It's looking great, I think. So I will not do any changes in our logo, but let's move toward the next thing, which is creating our home page. So write home.tsx to create another screen for our application, and after that we can use shorthands like RFCE or RNFCE, which will generate a code for our this screen. And after that we have to we have to what we have to do. I think this screen will be our first screen will be pressable screen, and the pressable screen will have a pressable attribute, which will be redirecting towards the home screen. So give a router dot push. However, we don't have router now, but we will import it. Const router is equal to use router from Expo React Native, I think, Expo router. So now it's functional. When we click on this screen, we are able to redirect on our first screen, which is home screen, where will be all the things will be displaying, like food and lots of other stuff. So first of all, we have to create our header, and so for that I am commenting a line, and after that we have to import the class name from twrnc. twrnc allow us to use Tailwind CSS inside our projects, so we are using for that. So after that, between the comment sections we have to write view. Inside the view we will be creating our header. So for that we need an icon. For getting an icon we have to go to heroicons.com and just copy any icon, and we have to create an icon inside our asset folder. So write person icon dot tsx, and generate a page for that, and after that we have to paste the svg here. Now it's time to fix something like we are not using class name directly, Tailwindcss directly, so we are able to use twrnc, and we have to remove the class name from our svg. And before that we have to import on our uh, header, so it will be visible. It is too large because the styling is not accepting the class name, because we don't have any class name now. Class name is a feature of Tailwind CSS, and we are using twrnc, which make the syntax much more complex, but its installation is easy. That's why I'm using it. So class name, style, class name, and size 12 will decrease the height of our icon. And after that we also have to give some padding to our header, and we have to just copy paste the person icon 2 times, and give some style like justify between, and flex will be raw, and items will be center, which will make the layout much more cooler. So for now I think we need another icon, which is bell icon. So just copy it from here, but we need just a outline. So click on outline and copy the icon of bell, and we have to create another file which is bell icon.tsx. Also write rnfce, which will generate a code for our this file also, and just copy and paste the svg inside this, and also remove the class name from here, and give styles, and inside the styles we have to give a class name, and before that we have to import the class name to be able to use class name inside this file also. So twrnc, and after that we have to call the class name, and we are able to use a class name here and give a class name of size 12, which will decrease the height of our icon. Also call the icon here bell icon, which will import from our asset folder. So now we are able to see our icon of bell also, So it is looking much more bigger. So I think it's looking good for now. And let's move toward the next section, which is text section. So I am commenting all this stuff because it will make much more easier to understand where the stuff are for each components. So I am using a view. Inside a view we have to call a text element. Inside the text we have to write hello Spaqoo, and just remove this text and write something like make your own food, stay at home. So let's now it's time to style our text. So I'm selecting the both text. You can also do that by pressing Ctrl and D, and after that give some class name like text will be I think semi bold, and the first text will be bold I think. After that we will give some class name like text LD, which will increase the font size, and we have to make the text bold of the second text, and also decrease the font size of our make your own food stay at home text. So give a class name of text 3xl. I think I'm increasing the font size of the second text. So let's select each. It's looking good, but there's no padding inside our screen and our text. So give some class name to our outermost container of our text. So give padding 5 from all the sides, and the padding top will be 0 because the above component is also giving some padding into the bottom, so it is making the UI much more ugly. So for that I am doing this. So just I have increased the font size, decreasing or increasing. I have decreased the font size to 3xl. Now it's looking good, and we have to change the color of our home text. So I am wrapping the text inside another text element and giving it a class name like text orange 500, which will change the font color of our home to 500. But I think I have written the orange name is mistakenly wrong. So now it's working, and I think it's looking good. So let's move toward the next thing, which is our search component. So for search component, I am also commenting out text to understandable to make our code understandable. After that, I am using a view. Inside a view, I am importing text input, and also we have to use the attribute of text input, which is the placeholder. So inside the placeholder, we will be writing search any recipe. So the text input will be displaying the search any recipe. After that, we have to write search, because here we will be importing another icon. So before that, we have to style our search input container. So give it bg graph 200, and padding will be 2, and rounded will be full, and it's looking good, but give some margin of 5. I think it's looking great. Now it's look time to give some flex row, justify content, start, and items will be center, which will make it much more good. So Also we have to style our text input, so give it some class name also, like flex will be one, and the text will be LG, and the font is semi-bold, so the text will be gray 500, and also give some padding 3. Now it's looking good, I think. It's time to we have to round the border of our container also, so give some padding to increase our search input. So also we need a gap between our icon of the text and the input, and now we have to round the corner of our search, and rounded L full will be round the left side of our text input fully, and also we have to search inside the hero icon for website, and I have just copied the JSX from there, and we have created another search icon file here and generated a code for that, and just paste the SVG here for search icon, and we have to import the class name from TWRNC, so we will be able to use class name inside this file also. Just remove this code and write the styles, and inside the styles we have able to import the class name, and we can now use the size of 6, and BG will be white, and padding will be 2, and rounded will be 4. So if we refresh, then nothing happened because we don't have imported here. So now import here on our home page, home screen. Now we are able to see our search icon on our screen. It's time to give some another padding to our search input to make it much more interactive and cool. So we have completed our search input. Now it's time to create our category section, which will allow us to see all the categories in one row, and yeah, it will look great because we will be using flat list for it. So for first time we have to use a view. Inside a view we are importing an image, and inside the image we are using an attribute which is styles, and inside the styles we are using class name and giving height and width and some background color to our image, so we are able to see the image. For now we are just using a color, but in future we will be using the actual images, so give it some height and width, and after that we will be giving it the grounded full, which will round the whole corner, all the corners of our this image. So also we need a tags of category after that, where we will be displaying the name of the category, and also we have to style the text. For that we are using some class name like font semi bold, and after that we are also the changing color of the text to gray 500, and I think it's looking good. So give some padding top 1, and it's time to go to the API, recipe API website. Link is in the description, which is the mealdb.com, and here we can copy the code of our categories and just paste it in the browser, and just copy all the code from there, and now it's time to create a data inside our asset folder. After that, we have to create a file of categories.json, and after that we have to paste it here, and we can see it is ugly looking ugly. We have to format it just by clicking on right side right right button, and we are able to format that. If you can't do that, you can give it to Chatgpt, and Chatgpt will also format it for you as you want. So for now, just follow along with me, and I will be teaching the core functionality of this app. So we have created our categories.json file. Now it's time to use flat list. I have cut the thing which I have created earlier. It's time to import categories from uh, dot slash assets, and after that we are giving the location of data, which is categories.json, and now we will be able to use the categories inside our flat list. So give the data is equal to categories, and after that we will be extracting. The key extractor will be item, and it will be item dot mail id, I think, id category, and render item will be rendering item, and after that we will be just pasting all the code which we have cut it for first time. Now we are just on the screen, just one thing is displaying, but if we resolve the issue and make it error free, then we are able to see lots of UI on the screen, because it is displaying the whole UI on our screen uh, on the basis of the categories in our categories.json. So after that we have to give the horizontal attribute and show horizontal scroll indicator false to our flat list to make it more interactive. After that we have to give styles to our flat list. For that we are using another attribute which is content container styles. So we are able to use class name here and giving the gap of 5. So after giving the gap of 5, we also have to give some padding on to our flat list, and I think it's looking good now. And also we have to give the source of the image here, which is item dot str category thumb, and also we are able to use the give the text for each image. So now it's displaying all the images, all the categories name on our screen, because we have successfully fetched the data from our API without doing any complex setup and other stuff. So let's style it to make it much cooler, and I think it's looking good now. We can now adjust the image height to something like 12. Now it's scrolling right, and we are able to scroll it, and we are now displaying all the image and category on our screen. Now let's move towards the next component, which is recipes component, where we'll be displaying all the recipe on this layout. So for that I am using a view. After that view I am using a text element. Inside the text element I am writing recipes, because this section will be displaying all the recipes. So for that we have to style our text to make it much larger. So give it some class name like px5, and also the text will be 3xl, and font will be bold, semi bold. I think it's looking good now. So let's move towards the next thing, which is displaying all the recipes below this text. So for that I am just copy pasting all of the flat list from this here and just paste it here below the recipe text. So we will be able to do lots of things while doing this stuff. So I have pasted here, and uh, now I have a confusion. If we style it, then it's not applicable because our layout is much more stylish than the categories section, because the categories section is much more easier, and we just have to copy paste the image and text element from here, and the outer view also, and after that we have to paste it here and paste it 2 to 3 times. And I am making the raw for recipes. So this will be the raw, and I think it's not working. The items will be not working because it's not in the flat list. So for that we are using categories, and we will give the 0, which means that the index 0 of the categories, images and text will be showing on our screen. So it's time to increase the height and width of our images, because our recipes images will be much more bigger than our categories section. For now I'm using the categories images for this section also, but if you can use the recipes images here, then feel free to do that. So after that we have to style the text. So I am giving some class name like text center, and after that we have to style the outermost container of the row to flex row to make it in flex raw, and justify will be between, and items will be center. So for now these are separating each other much more cooler. It looks cool now, and we have to give some padding from all the sides of p5, and I think it's looking good. And also we have to change the index of another the next recipe. For now it's a category, and it's now showing different image. So just copy the row here. I think before that we have to use a scroll view here, and to make the recipe section scrollable. So this will accept attribute which is show vertical scroll bar indicator, which will be false, and it will hide the scroller of our screen, the scroll view from the screen. For now, if we copy the row and paste it 2 to 3 times, then we are able to scroll the categories. Now I think it's not scrolling. Why? Because we don't have even given the flex one to our outermost container, and which is compulsory to make the scroll view functionable. So after that we have to cut the scroll view from here and just paste it below, above the our main container, and to make our whole screen scrollable, I am just pasting the scroll view below the view, and if we refresh, then we are able to scroll our whole screen, which is much more cooler than just scrolling a specific section. So also change the index of each categories to display different items on our screen. So I'm changing the index of each screen, um, which indexing is on the basis of categories.json, which you can open and see where is the index 2, index 3, and how the images are changing. So I am giving some changing the indexing now to 4, 5, 6 to display lots of other categories on our screen. So if we do that, then everything is displaying now. If we can say that we have completed our application, but wait, this tutorial is for enhancing your potential while using ChatGPT. And for now we have completed, but it's time to enhance our level. So let's move towards ChatGPT. Let's enhance the coding experience using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will enhance your productivity 100%. And now give some prompt to ChatGPT. Learn how to give a prompt to ChatGPT, like show all recipes below recipe tags, and we just have to copy paste the whole code of our home screen and just paste it here and just give to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will take care all of this stuff, and you don't have to just customizing the code again and again and see what are the changes and how the things will function very well. Just give it to ChatGPT and give some prompt, and ChatGPT will take care of all of this stuff, because ChatGPT have lots of uh, data in its backend, and it will enhance our code, and it will make our code much more simplify and reusable for us in future. Just copy it from here, and the documentation is also saying about the customization, and we can paste it on our home dot screen. If we paste it here and refresh our screen, then we can see that we just have created some recipes, but ChatGPT have generated all these recipes on our screen while minimizing our code. So let's give some another prompts, like filter recipes when click on categories icon. So it will filter out the recipes on the basis of clicking on categories. So now if we scroll down, then all this stuff is displaying on our screen, and it's done by our ChatGPT. So now it's time to give lots of data to ChatGPT to make our code more interactive, and let ChatGPT do lots of new magics to enhance our level of our application. So give some prompt like get recipes from this API. These APIs, for now I'm just using, don't focus on the grammar, and just paste it all the stuff here, like all of the APIs of images and recipes here. And when the generation of our code stops, it's time to give this code to ChatGPT and just enter. And now ChatGPT will use all the APIs, and it's also giving some suggestion to install Axios, and because it's using now new features to make our app more interactive and dynamic. So install our npm install Axios, and Chatgpt is generating code which is usable with Axios, so it's giving us the suggestion. Before that, we have to copy the earlier code which Chatgpt has generated for us. If we refresh our application, then there is lots of errors in our application because ChatGPT has generated the fault code, and it's many times it will be conflicting with our dependencies. So don't focus on that and just remove the code we have pasted on our screen. But the code which will uh, work well, which will do work well, then you have to just copy that code, not all of the code which is conflicting with your id and other stuff. So if we paste the stuff here, it's now showing error, and it's just we have to give copy paste it and give to ChatGPT to and ChatGPT will resolve it if it can, and it will give us some reasonable solution, so reasonable problems and the solution for that problems. And it's giving lots of documentation for me, and I'm not the documentation guy who will focus on all this stuff. So that it's generating enough of things, and I don't want to use any stuff because ChatGPT has generated an error-full code for me. So it's time to use some another prompt, and let's experiment with prompting with ChatGPT to make our application much more dynamic. So give a prompt like just fetch recipes from API and show in the layout. So if we copy paste the whole code of our home.tsx, oh, I think I have used the code which already have given by ChatGPT. So the code is using the axis, so I have to control that, and we have to copy the code which will not show any error. So if we control that, then this code is not showing error, so we have to write the text inside the text area of ChatGPT, because the generating code is using Axios, and I think Axios is conflicting with something with our coding, and I am not uh, know about Axios, and I don't use it at all. So that's why I'm not focusing on to customizing the Axios. And ChatGPT has generated all the stuff, and it's time to copy the whole code for. Let's try out and see, is it not conflicting. It's already now it's conflicting, so control that, and it's not showing any error. And it's time to uh, give some another prompt like implement what it has to implement animation. Yeah, we need also an animation. uh, we have given the code of our home.tsx, and after that we have written a prompt to animate our component of application. So now ChatGPT is animating our components without we don't know lots of stuff like use effect and other stuff, but ChatGPT is using that for us and animating lots of things for us. And I think ChatGPT is much more cooler for those who just know basic of coding and want to make their code dynamic while doing small stuff, and ChatGPT will take care of all of the bigger stuff like doing animations, fetching APIs, and other cool stuffs. So it has generated our home screen code with animation, and just copy it and paste it. I have mistakenly pasted it in my I think I have pasted it in my first screen, which is index.tsx. However, I have to paste it in our home.tsx. Just for now, let's generate another stuff. We have to copy paste it here, and now what I have to do, I have to animate the index.tsx, which is our first screen, the splash screen, and I have implemented. I have prompt to ChatGPT to implement animation on that screen also. So whenever the user come up on our splash screen, then the user will see the animation on the screen, and it will be a good user interface for the user. So I think the index.tsx is not ready now ready. So copy the code and paste it on our index.tsx. So if we go to our application and just go to the splash screen, so it's now animating and it's looking great now, I think. And the animation stuff I can't do for now because I don't explore that stuff. So let's give some another prompts to ChatGPT to implement search functionality. So our application will be able to search whenever we write something in our search bar, and this functionality will be implemented by ChatGPT, and we are not doing any other code to make our uh, search input functional. So we don't have to take care about it, just ChatGPT will do that. And it's doing lots of code, and much of that code I don't understand, and I don't know about that. But ChatGPT is generating the dynamic and the most reusable code, so we have to relax and just give some prompt, and ChatGPT will take care of all of this stuff. So it's generating. If we go to the first screen is also animating, and it's looking nicer before our previous um, UIs. So ChatGPT is implementing the search functionality to our home screen search input. So we have to copy the code from here and just paste it here. So the code line of code is increasing, so I think the functionality is able to use. Yeah, it's now working, and it's now working great. Without, we don't have use any stuff, any we don't have customized any code in our development, but ChatGPT has uh, give us the functionality of search. So yeah, it's cool. So now we have to write that don't filter the categories. However, we have categories, so it will filter the categories, but give some prompt like this will make some sense to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will do some more stuff to make our application much more user friendly and dynamic and interactive. So give some prompt like don't filter the categories, just filter recipes below recipes, text, and when we click on categories, it should also work. So basically I am saying that when user click on the categories images, then the recipes should be filtered out. However, this functionality will be able to use when we write in our search bar. However, whenever I writing something in my search bar, then the categories and the recipes both are filtering. It's ugly, but what we can do, we can't remove the functionality. We can give some prompt to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can do that. If you want to enhance, if you want to do lots of other stuff to enhance the application ability, then you can do, and you can experiment with this application, and ChatGPT will come up with lots of new methods and new features. So feel free to do that, because it will give some more experiences while using ChatGPT. So now it's time to copy this code also and paste it here, and I think it is also showing some error. So we have to control Z and remove the code we have pasted on our development. Now what I'm understanding with my application, I have to do uh, another stuff like give some new prompt to our ChatGPT, like when we click on categories, it should it should display a pop-up containing all recipes inside the that category. I think ChatGPT will come up with a good idea, but let's see what's happened. If we go to our splash screen, then we can see our splash screen is now animating and it's looking good now. And also our home screen is also having some good animation, and we have to go to ChatGPT and see the code of the last prompt, which is doing the filtration and other stuff. So for that, we will wait until this code will completely generated by ChatGPT. Hmm. It's generating lots of code. So I think our application is completed, and we have implemented the main feature like search functionality, fetching the data from our APIs while doing simple stuff, and we are experimenting with ChatGPT to enhance our ability of our application. So ChatGPT is still generating the code to make the code much more cooler. So let's wait for it and wait and watch. So yeah, ChatGPT has completed generation of the code. So let's make the tab bar full screen. If we copy the code from, I think this is not the code, it is the code. So it's time to copy it from here, and if we go to the screen, it's showing lots of error. So we have to control that and remove the code which we have experimented while using ChatGPT. So I think we have done with ChatGPT, and we have done lots of experiment with ChatGPT. So it's time to do the final demo of our application. So make duplicate of our tabs, and which will make us able to see uh, the application on different screen sizes and on different devices. So if we open the mobile simulator and if we go to browser view also, then we can see that our application is responsive for now, but it's not. I can do that, but for now it's not our headache because it's simple, and the main functionality is in this tutorial is building the recipe app using APIs, and it the last stuff we have to do is deploying the application. So our search functionality is working on all the devices. However, it's looking same devices on our screens. But if you want to change the devices, then you can also do that. Uh, for now, it's looking good. Just close all the tabs, and we have to close all the tabs and open the tab to deploy our application now. Now open our GitHub. Obviously you have to open your own GitHub. I have Spaqoo GitHub, so that's why I'm opening. I have done lots of hard work on my this repository, so give it a like. And after that, I have already created a direct repository, and inside that repository I have to edit a file. So here I am able to upload my whole folder here. So it is not uploading whole folder because it contain not modules. Not modules contain lots of code. That's why we have to delete it while deploying on our internet. So before uploading any folder which is created using Expo React Native and other stuff using npm, you have to delete the node modules because it will prohibit to upload your folder on GitHub or another platform. And we are uploading our code on GitHub and deploying our application on Vercel.com. And Vercel is fully free, so you can deploy many applications as you want. And as I have uploaded all the application on here, if you have any other platform which will allow you to deploy freely or you want to pay, then you can do that. Now we can import it on our Vercel.com. So for now we have to change the directory to our application. Before that, we have to wait until the node modules will be deleted. So when the node modules will delete it, we will be able to upload the recipe app code on our repository, and after that we will be able to import recipe app code inside our Vercel.com, and Vercel will deploy it successfully. So let's comment it out something like while the node modules are deleting, we have to use some comments like recipe app using Expo React Native, Tailwindcss, animation, and Chatgpt. So now we can upload it on our repository. Now it's uploading because we have deleted node modules, and we have 15 files in our directory. So we have successfully uploaded all the files. Now it's time to commit the changes, and if we commit the changes, then we will be able to refresh. However, the Vercel will be refreshed automatically, but we have to do it. Now we are able to see the recipe app also, so we will be selecting that and deploy it. And when we click on deploying it, it will deploy in few seconds. And it's showing building logs, development summary, and assignment. Yeah, it's congratulations. You have uploaded your first Expo React Native app on the Vercel. However, the deployment is not successful. I think so because I have used multiple folder inside our directory, and it's much more complex. So if you are uploading your application, then you have to create another repository for that, then your application will be deployed successfully. However, it's not found because we have done something wrong. But in your case, you have to be aware while uploading on GitHub. So you have to create another repository and you have to paste it all this stuff in that repository. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.